You are worthy of them. You deserve happiness. You deserve to love yourself. Everything outside of you is not an indication of who you are. It's everything within. Hello, and welcome to the Business of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and today is going to be a great day. Just feel that for a moment. Just for a moment as you're listening to this podcast, give yourself permission to feel and hear that. Today is going to be a great day. Every day has the opportunity to be a great day. It doesn't matter what day it is. Every single day. And today's great because everything is happening for your greater, highest good. Ooh, hear that as well. Doesn't that feel uncomfortable sometimes to hear? But it's the truth. It is the greatest truth and biggest secret I have to share with you today. And that is why this episode is so important today and why today is going to be a great day, because you are here to hear the truth that everything is happening as it should for your highest good, if you allow it. That's it. There is nothing that can happen outside of you that is not for your highest good, that is not an opportunity for you to grow and learn from and to reach for your happiness and your dreams. That is the truth. That is the truth. Everything is here for you. That is the truth. Everything is happening for you. You know, I used to be very resistant to this idea. I used to think, well, that doesn't explain a lot. Things are obviously happening that are not for my greatest good. I want this. I'm trying to make this happen. I mean, let's take something very, very superficial. I'm trying to lose weight and I'm working towards it and I'm not losing weight. How is that happening for my greatest good? But it is. But it is. There's a learning about ourselves in this journey of life. There's a learning about ourselves in our dreams and our desires. You know, when we have a dream, when we have a desire, it is purely something to work towards that is allowing us for us to get greater insight into who we are. Because along the way, we learn, maybe I didn't want that so much. We get clarity over our goals. We get clarity over our desires. And along the way, we learn all of those old limiting beliefs that have kept us from our dreams. And once again, everything is working out exactly as it should. I'll tell you about a time in my life where I didn't see that. It was 11 years. Was it 11 years ago now? Maybe more. 12 or 13 years ago now. I've been telling the story for for long enough that I'm forgetting how long ago it was. I had a dream of building a beautiful practice, orthodontic practice, of being an orthodontist in service to my community. And this practice was anything but successful. It was enormously stressful. It was falling apart. I was fighting every month to pay the bills. It was so heavy for me that it was a challenge for me to maintain the rest of my life. I had a very hard time focusing on my family, focusing on my children, focusing on my own personal health, focusing on my marriage. There was no room for friendship. There was no room for greater growth, insight, understanding, freedom, really life. You know, I think I might have shared this on the podcast before, but the minute I bought the practice, I started on this hamster wheel, a treadmill really at high speed, running. And I'll never forget, my husband and I took our first delicious vacation to Costa Rica, and I literally paid money to come home early because I was so stressed out about the practice. So, it was a time in my life where I remember looking at it and feeling like none of this was happening for my greater good. I had taken out $1 million loan to purchase this practice and the house that it was within. It was a home office. And I was having so much trouble paying the bills. I was so stressed out and overwhelmed. In that moment, I could not see beyond the stress and the anxiety and the fear of the day. My kids were missing out on me because every moment I was obsessing about this business I had dreamt of and created and built. Every patient was fearful to me because I was worried about their care. I had purchased a practice from a previous orthodontist, and I had unknowingly inherited a lot of problems in their treatment plans and in the health of their teeth. There was actually this one pivotal moment, for those of you who know orthodontics, you know that one of the risks of older treatment philosophies, of older treatment types, is root resorption. So that's when the roots of your teeth get shorter and shorter and shorter. Well, when I purchased this practice, I purchased many, many, many patients in the middle of their care with almost non-existent roots to their teeth because they had had such high forces on their teeth that they literally had very short roots. I'm talking about 15, 16-year-olds, not done with their orthodontic treatment, but with almost no roots on their teeth. Terrifying. So sitting for me in that moment in my life and telling me everything's happening for your greater good, Tarryn, was very hard to see. In fact, I remember a moment when a young man knocked on my door in the middle of the night. No, it wasn't in the middle of the night. I think it was about 6 p.m. It felt like the middle of the night to me because I was exhausted every single day. He was at the front door with a hand full of his own teeth in his hands. At my front door in the evening, 2 toddlers screaming, his own teeth in his hands. What had happened was he'd gone to to have blood drawn that day. And because of his orthostatic hypotension, he stood up from having blood drawn and he fainted. Well, he fainted on his teeth. He fell down on his face and fainted on his teeth. And because of the treatment that he'd had from the orthodontic practice that I had purchased, all of the roots of his teeth were so short that 6 of his front teeth fell out. His front 6 teeth fell out of his mouth. And he was bringing them to me that night in his hands. In that moment, it was very hard to see how this was happening for my greater good. Talk about fear. Talk about anxiety. What have I done? How have I put myself in this place where a 15-year-old boy in front of me is holding his teeth in his hands, and this is my responsibility? If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you didn't get into business to be miserable. The problem is that people feel that if their business gets busier, if they start becoming more successful, that happiness will eventually set in. But it can actually get worse. This is why I created the Business of Happiness Prosperity Coaching. In this one-on-one coaching, we look at how to redefine success on your terms and re-find the joy and the passion in your dream. Visit me at thebizofhappiness.com and become the happiest business owner you know. Here's what I'm here to tell you today. Looking back now, the best thing that could have happened to me, everything was happening for my greater good, because that was not the place for me. That practice was not the practice for me. That state that I was living in was not the state for me. It was not where I was going to live to my greatest potential. And All of those signs were pointing to something I needed to see. I needed to learn so much about myself. And looking back on it now, I could never have learned those lessons in any other way. It had to be that way. I had to have that visceral understanding of what I needed and how I was going to be my best self. I had to learn that that practice, that dream, that purchasing someone else's practice was not for me. For me, it had to be something I grew and nurtured from the ground up. But see, at that age, at that time in my life, I hadn't yet given myself the power and the recognition and the validation that I needed in order to do it on my own. And so those lessons had to come in that way. Everything, every step along the way was happening for my greater good, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Not one part of it, not one piece of it, not one part of the pain, not one part of the understanding, not one part of the fear. It was all leading me to where I am now. And that is the knowing that I take with me every single day. See, this allows me to completely be disconnected from the outcome. I have great dreams. I have enormous dreams. There is such enormous impact that I intend to make on this world, to have on this medical and dental community, to serve and to support and to bring happiness and understanding and self love and inner fulfillment to our colleagues. I have so much deep intention. And yet, if all of this were to disappear tomorrow, I would be just fine. Not just fine, I would know that it is for my greater good, that there is another path calling me. There's a deeper way for me to travel, for me to be able to really serve in the way that I desire to serve. See, those little turns in the road are the ones that bring us closer to home. They give us a deeper understanding of who we are. We see with more clarity. Looking back now, I have so much clarity that would never have worked. I could never have stayed in that place, in that state, in that environment. It would have been so tragic. I've learned so much more by letting go and by moving forward from that old practice, even when in the moment it felt so painful. So here is the truth. I'm going to say it again. Everything is happening for your higher good. And you do not need to find attachment or meaning to any outside happenings outside of yourself. It's all inner work. See, we can stop looking for outside validation of ourselves because you get to receive it from within. Everything outside of you is not a reflection of who you are. That moment in that on standing on that stairwell, I can see it as clear as day. Standing on those brick stairs, my red doorway with a B knocker, brass knocker on the door that my husband had bought for our very first house, that held my very first orthodontic practice. Standing there, seeing that young man holding his teeth was not a reflection of me, but boy, did it feel like it at the time. Boy, did that feel like a valid an expression of my lack of worth. Because that was the story I was telling myself at the time, was that I wasn't worthy, I wasn't enough, I wasn't good enough. And the truth is I absolutely was. This had nothing to do with me. When we attach meaning to things that happen outside of ourselves, we rob ourselves of the truth. And the truth is that you are worthy. You are good enough. Your dreams are calling you. Your desires and your dreams are simply calling you to where you need to be. And you are worthy of them. You deserve happiness. You deserve to love yourself. Everything outside of you is not an indication of who you are. It's everything within. And that is why everything is happening for you. because at every moment in time, we have opportunities to learn more about ourselves, to discover the needs that we have, to listen more clearly to what we need, and then to offer ourselves enough love and compassion to deliver it for us. I just spoke to a phenomenal woman. She's a coach and a therapist and an author herself. And she said to me, every birthday, she buys her own birthday present, wraps it up, writes herself a beautiful card because she knows what she wants and what she needs and what she needs to hear. And yes, her friends and her husband and her children still give her gifts for her birthday, and they're beautiful and lovely. But she asks herself first, what do I need? How do I need to feel? How do I need to be validated and supported? What words do I need to hear? What gift do I need to receive to make me feel delicious and worthy? I think it's a brilliant practice. I really do. I've never done it myself, but man, after talking to her, I think it's excellent because it reminds us of the responsibility we have to take care of ourselves and also to let go of all the external events. When my husband gives me something I don't really like, I can let go of the story that it matters, that he should really know what I need and what I want after 20 years of marriage. It allows me to love him more for who he is, to love the gift because of the intention behind it and not because of the judgment I'm laying on it. Right? Everything is happening for us. Everything is happening for us. It's allowing us to have greater insight of who we want to be, of the higher self that I know is inside of me. So if you're listening to this episode today, then know that this message is for you. Everything is happening exactly as it should. And you are worthy of your dreams. And maybe life is taking you in a new direction, a circuitous route to get to where you want to be. And maybe what you thought you wanted, maybe now you're rethinking. Maybe what you really want is something else. And life is just giving you an opportunity to choose again, to choose anew. What if everything is happening for your greatest good? What if life is here to support you and your dreams? And what if you are worthy of those dreams? What if just for today you can live in that knowing? And here's your permission to do so. Everything is working out for you, and you deserve happiness. You deserve the life of your dreams. It feels so good just to say that. It feels so good to remind you of that because that, my friends, is the truth. That is the truth. And when we allow ourselves to feel that in the depths of our souls, we can let go of self-judgment. We can let go of judgment of others. And we can just enjoy this beautiful life and just watch it unfold. Just watch what life has to offer for us. Watch and be available for new lessons and new insights and new gifts. And then be so grateful for them and not judge them as being good or bad, positive or negative. It just is. And every moment is happening with greater and greater clarity as to who we are, who you are. Have a wonderful day, my friends. I hope this message serves you. Know that everything is happening for your greatest good, even if right now it feels hard. And if it feels hard, cry it out, punch it out. Do something to let those emotions flow. There is nothing more important, I believe, in my soul than feeling the feelings. Let it go. Feel them out. If it feels frustrating and hard and scary, feel it, my friend. Allow yourself, give yourself permission to feel those feelings. And then center yourself again. And in this moment, I invite you to do so. Just put your hand in your heart. And as long as you're not driving, close your eyes. I invite you to close your eyes and just take in a nice deep breath and hold it and fully exhale. Oh, Let's do it again. And hold it, hold it, hold it. Oh, and fully exhale. Hear me as I say, everything is happening for you. You are exactly where you need to be. Everything is happening for your greatest good, and you are worthy of it. Now go forward with this day and enjoy every moment. Enjoy living this life and welcome the gifts that it has to offer. And remember, when you feel good, that's when you can do good. Bye-bye.